Sometimes when I go to a sewing class or a sewing event, I learn one thing that I know is going to make a huge difference to many of my sewing projects. Had one of those moments this past week. I've been fairly busy sewing deliberately, taking my time, trying to improve some techniques and do small things right. That's what I'm going to tell you about in this video. Before I get into the nitty-gritty, as always, there are timestamps down below so you can skip forward or backwards in this video as you like. And also all the links for everything I talk about are listed down below in the description. In my previous video, which is linked up here, I explained that I'm trying to be more deliberate and thoughtful in my sewing and spend time improving things, not just producing stuff. And that's what I have been doing. I've actually managed to stick to that vow for a few weeks. Over the past couple of weeks, I've worked on several projects. Nothing is particularly complicated or challenging, but for each, I took a breath and instead of just saying something is good enough, I tried to do things a little bit better. One of the biggest things that I've done over the past couple of weeks is attend one of Ron Collins' fitting sewing retreats. Ron Collins is a Vogue pattern designer. He designs menswear. He lives in Saskatoon, which is about a 7-hour drive from here. And Ron puts on these sewing retreats and classes in different cities and towns, primarily in Western Canada. And they're a real treat. This particular class was 3 days, and you bring whatever you want help with. If you're working on a project and you need some assistance with techniques or making the project look a little bit better, or if you need help fitting, Ron is the most patient, kind man in the world, and he will spend all the time that's needed with you to help you produce something that you're happy with. So that was this past week. I spent 3 days there. And that meant 3 days of sitting with 7 other individuals. We bring our projects, we all sit at tables. I shared a long, probably an 8-foot table with another individual, and we work on our projects. It's a little bit cramped. I often bring homework home with me all the time. And at the end of the 3 days, you come home feeling really good about your sewing practice. At the end of the 3 days, I also came home and I felt a little bit beaten up. It's funny, as I've gotten older, some of these things that I used to do all the time just don't feel as comfortable as they used to. It doesn't seem that long ago that I was laughing at my mother and telling her she was old because her hand used to cramp when she would knit and crochet. Now what happens to me? My hand cramps when I sew. And I've also got a little ache here and a little pain here. My left side, for some reason, when I sew, I get cramping in my hand and my shoulder really does bother me. So when I had my last physical, I asked my doctor about it. And she said, there is nothing really wrong with you, Janine. You're just getting old. And she suggested massage, ice, and heat. Well, massage is expensive. It's a pain to haul around a bag of ice. So I found a different solution. This is the Bob and Brad Q2 Pro Mini Massage Gun. And yeah, this is Bob and Brad of YouTube fame. They have sold over 1 million of these things. So I gave it a try. Comes in this nice little kit, this bag. And the massage gun is completely rechargeable, so it's cordless when you use it. It feels very substantial. I was quite impressed with how it's manufactured, honestly. So you've got this gun, and there are several different accessories that you can use depending on if you're massaging a shoulder, your hand, somewhere that's got a little bit more delicate tissue. But for me, the first time I used it, my hand was all cramped up. So I turned on the massage gun. There are 5 different speeds. This is the slowest. And I just put it on my hand where it was cramped. And in probably 20 seconds, the cramp just dissolved. This feels very good on my hands. I could just do this for 20 minutes. Now, the other place where I really have some issues is my shoulder. And it does need ice because it's mostly just inflammation. So for that, I've got the heating and cooling element. And this is both. Just depends on which switch you use. And because my shoulder really needs cool, I can turn it on to one of the 2 different levels of cool. And it's almost immediately cold. And I can just gently rub the area and it ices it right down and it feels really good. Of course, it's not just shoulders. If you've got carpal tunnel syndrome, you can go down your arm. Other places where you could use heat or cold. That's exactly what this is designed for. I worked on 2 projects at the retreat. One is done. The other one's not quite done. Project that is done is this t-shirt. Basic t-shirt. I wear t-shirts all winter. And I figured I should have one pattern that works really well. And I know that it fits. And then I can put effort into changing the neck or the sleeves. I used a new to me pattern, which is the Love Notions Classic Tee, and picked up a piece of jersey that had some damage, so it was marked way down, and I made a toile. Then I let Ron just mark it all up. The changes that he made, we did a 3/4 inch sway back adjustment, which I always need. We lengthened the sleeves 1 3/8 inch. Apparently I have long arms. I think I've noticed that before, but now it's kind of embedded. We checked to make sure that the arm circumference was going to be big enough. It was just barely big enough. But I'm learning that this is somewhere where maybe as we age, we get a little bit of extra skin. So worth checking. We didn't change that though, just the length of the sleeve. Then I always have whiskers here, even on things where the bust fits right. There are often whiskers right here. So Ron just simply scooped out a little bit of the body here. So I wound up having about 1/2 inch here on the front and on the back. Because this is a knit sleeve that could be eased in, I didn't have to change the sleeve. It just fit nicely. But we just took off a little bit here so there would be more, so the arm side could drop down a little bit. Then the one change that he made that was my big learning moment was the way that he did a rounded back adjustment. And this was different from the way that I've always done them. For the rounded back adjustment, he started out by measuring where on the pattern I needed the extra length to go over my back, which is a little bit rounded. And it turns out it's quite high on my back, which is very common if you're someone who's always looking at devices. So he drew a line. For me, it was about 1.5 inches down from where the neckband goes in. Drew that line straight across on the pattern piece. Then he measured the width of the shoulder and he made a point, a mark in the middle of the shoulder. So if the shoulder piece was 7 inches wide, at 3.5 inches, he made a mark there and he drew a line straight down from that point on the shoulder to the horizontal line that he had just drawn. Then he cut, starting at the center back, straight across that horizontal line, stopped at the vertical line that came down from the shoulder, and cut straight up. So in essence, we were taking out the centerpiece of the neckband there. And he slid that piece up so that we added fabric just in the middle. Let's see if you can see that. So we slid that up. Nothing changed here on this side. And then we taped this all together. Now, the shoulder was not straight because this piece slid up. All he did is he put a piece of paper behind the shoulder here, and he trued up the line, and that was it. The shoulder wound up being the same length. I have where this yellow is, that's where we added fabric, and there's no dart. There's no dart. Worked fine. Now that's Ron's technique. I had nothing to do with that. He created it. He gets all credit for it. That was pretty slick. I hope that you can see this well enough. I'm going to pop in some drawings that I've done that I'm going to put over where I was speaking. And I hope that that made sense to you. I thought it was great that the extra fabric was added where I needed, which is at the top of the neck. So, pretty slick. And then I just finished off the t-shirt. Made the changes on the pattern, cut it out, finished off the t-shirt, and I'm really happy with it. I like this fabric. Feels nice for this time of year. I always love going to those sessions because I walk away from every single Ron Collins session knowing something that I didn't know before that I'm going to be able to put into use every single day. I have been working on a couple of other little projects where I am trying to improve my techniques and take a little time and do things right. The first project that I finished was this. This is a dress for Project Dress a Girl. And I know it's very late for Project Dress a Girl, but we're having someone from Dress a Girl around the world come to our Calgary Sews meetup tomorrow. And she's going to talk about the program. And I'm pretty sure that she's still going to be accepting dresses. If she's not accepting dresses, I've got this one for next year. And this is just a plain little dress. And where I worked on the technique on this is I learned how to make ruffles. I don't think I'd ever made ruffles before. And for this, I actually looked at the old Singer Guide, Simplicity Guide. I'll put the name of the book down here. Something from 1970. Just a very simple dress for a girl, cute. And the pattern that I used for this was Butter 3772. I know that many people use free patterns for Project Dress a Girl, but I picked this up when it was on clearance in the States, so I didn't invest a lot of money in it. So I made this one little dress and worked on ruffles for that. And the other thing that I've worked on is I've got another Mrs. Quilty box, and the box that I opened up is all autumn colors. So I made this pillow, and this is all pieced. This isn't quilted, it's pieced. So I learned how to do this really nicely, and I wound up with this great pillow that is perfect for autumn decor in my house. I'm curious. Do you go to events like this? Sewing events, retreats, not necessarily educational ones, even just sewing retreats, days of sewing, sew-ins. What do you think of them? Do you think they're worth the effort that we have to put in to package up all of our stuff? Our machines, our power cords, our notions, our extra presser feet, thread, projects, everything. Do you think it's worth it? Or is it worthwhile because of the socializing or the things you learned from other people? Just curious about what other people think about these type of events. If you even have the opportunity to go to them, because I know that they're not available everywhere, or it's really hard to get to them, or gosh, you can't get away from home or work. I enjoy them. Some of them that I've been to have been more about the socializing than the sewing. And I haven't gotten a lot done. This one I got a fair bit done. Thank you so much for spending time with me today. I hope everything is great in your world. If you're not a subscriber, I'd love it if you hit the subscribe button and the notifications so you know when I have a new video. And if you enjoyed this video, you might like this one where I talked about a previous retreat that I went to where Ron Collins taught me a bunch of things. Take care. I'll see you soon.